Earth is not what you think it is. Some places feel like science fiction, others like ancient dreams, volcanoes with blue fire, caves that glow like galaxies, oceans that light up when you touch them, and valleys so colorful they look painted by the sky itself. These are real places, but they defy reality, and they're out there, waiting to be seen. This is your invitation. Like, subscribe, and follow us to the edge of the map, because the world is more unreal than you ever imagined. Some places on Earth look like they don't belong here. Not on this planet, not in this reality. A lake that's perfectly red, a waterfall of fire, a glowing cave under the ocean, and cliffs that sing when the wind passes through. They're not myths, they exist, hidden in the corners of our world, untouched, unseen, unforgettable. If this makes you wonder what else is out there, hit like, subscribe, and come with us, because this planet is full of secrets, and we're here to reveal them. There are places on Earth so strange, so beautiful, they don't feel real. Mountains that glow at night, lakes pink as the sky, forests that whisper like they're alive. These aren't fantasy worlds, they're real, hidden on our planet, unseen by most, unbelievable to all. From the salt flats of Bolivia to Iceland's ice caves, from China's rainbow mountains to Africa's burning deserts, these places rewrite what we think Earth is. If this opened your eyes, like and subscribe for more, because the world is wilder than your dreams. There is a world so vast, so alive, so impossibly perfect that it feels like it was imagined, but it's real. A world not designed by humans, but sculpted by time, shaped by storms, and lit by a sun that never repeats the same sky twice. It's a world where light bends gently through the mist, where colors seem to glow from within, where every reflection is deeper than it seems. In this world, beauty isn't rare, it's constant. It hides in motion, in silence, in stillness. Every breeze carries history. Every shadow holds a secret. You don't need a map. You don't need a destination. You just need to look and truly see. Watch how rivers carve the earth like liquid time. Watch how trees speak in patterns of light. Watch how clouds rise and fall like breath itself. This is not a simulation. This is not a fantasy. This is the real world. And yet, it feels too beautiful to be true. People often rush past it, but when you slow down, the magic appears. Not all at once, but piece by piece. A bird in motion, a child laughing, the sound of distant thunder rolling over hills. All of it real, all of it unreal. The contrast is what makes it unforgettable. Life doesn't ask to be watched, it just happens. And when we finally do watch, truly watch, we realize how little we actually see. Look again, the shapes, the textures, the patterns, the soft movement of wind through a field, the geometry of buildings against an open sky. It's not about where you are, it's about how you see. The world isn't asking to impress you, but it does, without trying. Cities shine like circuits of life. Mountains stretch like ancient thoughts. Faces pass with stories written in their eyes. Every frame is real. Every moment exists. But together, they feel like something more. You're not just watching, you're remembering. Remembering what wonder feels like. The beauty of this world isn't just in how it looks. It's in how it makes you feel. Calm, curious, humbled. We chase many things, but sometimes all we need is to stop and just let the world move around us. No language needed, No explanation required, just light, just sound, just presence. That's what makes this world so unreal. Not because it's fake, but because it's more real than we're used to. The world isn't broken, it's just quiet. Quiet enough for those who are willing to listen. So listen. To the wind, to the rhythm, to the invisible song that binds it all together. Let your eyes wander. Let your mind drift. No need to control. No need to understand. Just be. And in that being, feel the beautiful, unreal world reveal itself. The world changes, not in sudden bursts, but in quiet layers. One wave after another, one shadow passing over light. We live in a story that never ends, written in the movement of clouds, in the cracks of old walls, in the shifting of seasons. You don't need to travel far to feel it. You only need to notice the way time slows down in still places, the way reflections ripple with emotion, the way color can shift your mood without a single word being spoken. Some moments feel like déjà vu, not because we've seen them before, but because they awaken something ancient within us, a memory we never made, a feeling we've always known, the sound of distant waves, the echo of footsteps in empty streets, the silence between two heartbeats. All of these things are part of the world's voice, a voice that doesn't shout, but whispers, and in that whisper, we find meaning. Not every answer needs a question. Not every moment needs a purpose. Some things are beautiful simply because they exist. The flicker of sunlight through leaves, the shimmer of heat in the air, the way motion feels when it's effortless. We try so hard to understand the world, but maybe it's meant to be felt, not solved. Maybe beauty isn't something we create. Maybe it's something we remember. The way children look at rain, the way animals move with instinct, the way night falls without asking permission. The world isn't trying to impress us. It just is, and that's enough. In the quiet glow of dawn, in the restless hum of twilight, in the soft rhythm of everyday life, there's a kind of truth, one that isn't loud, but undeniable. The truth that we are part of something larger, something older than cities, more patient than time. And when we slow down long enough, when we open our senses instead of our thoughts, we return to that truth. We remember what it means to be alive, not busy, not distracted, but alive, present in the now, aware of wonder, connected to the quiet miracle of being here. You don't need to capture the world. You only need to experience it. Let it pass through you. Let it move you. And as it does, let go of everything else. Because right here, right now, in this fleeting, glowing moment, you are part of the beautiful, unreal world. And even when the moment fades, when the colors dim and the shadows stretch longer, the feeling remains. The stillness, the awe, the quiet voice of the world, still echoing in your chest. Because what you've seen is not just scenery, it's a reflection of what's out there and of what's within. The vastness of the earth mirrors the vastness of the human spirit. Unexplored, unmapped, infinite. We build cities, we chase time, we collect answers. But sometimes, the greatest wisdom comes in silence, in just standing still and watching the world unfold. The sky doesn't need permission to change. The tides don't need instruction to rise. The world continues, endlessly, gracefully, without our interference. And that's the miracle. It doesn't need us to be grand, but we get to witness it anyway. We get to breathe the same air as the trees, feel the same warmth as the stones, move through the same space as everything that ever lived. There's power in that simplicity, in knowing we are small, and yet somehow still part of something so large, so sacred, so indescribably beautiful. And when the wind moves through an empty street, or light catches dust in the air, or a single drop of water reflects the entire sky, you remember that this world, though real, feels like magic, like a secret that's waiting to be noticed. It's not the loud moments that stay with us. It's the quiet ones, the overlooked, the unexpected, the moments where nothing happens, and yet everything shifts. A child's quiet laugh, the shape of light under a door, the pattern of footsteps fading away, the way shadows stretch like time itself. You begin to realize that beauty doesn't demand attention, it simply waits to be found. And in those moments, time slows down. You breathe deeper, you listen more. You start to see again, not just with your eyes, but with your whole being. You are not separate from the world. You are not a visitor here. You are made of the same elements, moved by the same forces, held by the same gravity. The rhythm of life runs through all things, from the deepest oceans to the quietest corners, from rushing crowds to the stillest dawn. It's all connected. It's all alive. It's all one. And as you walk through this world, let it teach you. Let it slow you down. Let it soften you. Let it remind you of what truly matters. Not the noise, not the rush, but the wonder, the presence, the feeling of being here, fully, just once, in this moment. Because this moment will never come again. The sky will never look quite the same. The wind will never sound exactly like this again. And you are changing too. Every second, every heartbeat, you are becoming someone new, someone who has seen something unreal and come back changed. The world doesn't demand gratitude, but it deserves it. For the light, for the stillness, for the endless art it creates without effort. So carry this with you, this feeling, this vision, this reminder that we live in a beautiful, unreal world. And when life feels too heavy, too fast, too loud, close your eyes, breathe in, and remember this place, this feeling, this magic. It's still there, it's always there, and it always will be, waiting for you to look again. And even then, when days grow longer and time feels thinner, when the seasons shift and nothing stays the same, this truth remains. The beauty is never gone. It just moves. It changes shape. It takes new forms, hides in new corners, waits in different skies. You'll find it in the way people pause between sentences, in the soft hum of an old light, in the curve of a path you've walked 100 times before, and suddenly see with new eyes. Beauty lives in repetition, in rhythm, in the unseen choreography of life. And sometimes it takes stepping back to see how connected everything truly is. You are not here by accident, and neither is this moment. You were meant to feel this, to witness this, to remember that you too are a part of this art, a brushstroke in the moving masterpiece of the universe. You are made of this world's light, its soil, its silence. You belong to it, as it belongs to you. So keep walking, keep noticing, keep returning to this presence. Let the unreal beauty of this world remind you, again and again, that life itself is the greatest work of art ever created. There is a land where silence roars louder than words, where history breathes not from books, but from walls, wind, and ritual. A place where opposites do not clash, they dance, where ancient rhythms pulse through modern veins, where mystery is not a question, but a way of life. This land is China, but not the version you've seen in postcards. Not the headlines, not the travel guides. This is something deeper, more intricate, more alive. This is the China they never show you. Let go of everything you think you know, of every assumption, every second-hand truth. We're not here to explain. We're here to feel. Because some things can't be understood with logic. They must be absorbed. With the skin, with the soul, with silence. Somewhere in this land, a single leaf is falling. Its path through the air is random, yet precise. At that same moment, steel meets fire, and a machine is born. Thousands of years of craftsmanship and milliseconds of code, existing side by side, unaware of the contradiction, or maybe entirely at peace with it. This is not a nation of contrast, it is a nation of fusion. The blur between what was and what could be. In the morning, fog rolls over rooftops like a memory. In the evening, cities shimmer like circuits. Alive, aware, and in between, a million quiet moments no camera has ever caught. But you feel them now. A woman lighting incense in the shadows. A grandfather tracing brush strokes in water that disappears before it's seen. A child counting stars between smog and skyscrapers. And you're there, not watching, remembering. You're not just a viewer. You're a traveler between worlds. A witness to a rhythm written in bone and stone and silicon. Every image you see is a doorway. Every silence, an invitation. This is not about destinations. This is about what happens to you between the landmarks. In the pauses, in the glances, in the breathless moments you didn't expect to care about. We are taught to look for meaning. But here, meaning hides where no one thinks to search. It hides in a glance, across a crowded metro, in the steam rising from a street vendor's stall, in the spaces between spoken words. It hides in motion. It hides in stillness. And slowly, something shifts inside you. The need to know is replaced by the need to feel. You stop labeling and start listening. You don't need names, you need presence. You don't need context, you need curiosity. This country doesn't explain itself. It reveals itself slowly, if you let it. And as you watch, you begin to notice you're not watching China. You're watching yourself. Watching China. There's beauty in the ordinary here. Not because it wants to be beautiful, but because it simply is. A bowl of noodles, eaten alone. A rooftop cat staring down at traffic. A cracked teacup on a windowsill, kissed by afternoon sun. These are not scenes. They're poems, written without language, but meant for you. This place doesn't speak loudly. It whispers. It speaks in gestures, in habits passed down like heirlooms, in contradictions that are not errors, but symphonies of survival. A man practices Tai Chi in a courtyard while digital ads flash behind him. A temple bell rings while a drone passes overhead. None of this is strange here. Everything belongs, and maybe so do you. You are not a tourist, not anymore. You are a witness to a nation that has always been too big to fit in frames, too deep to summarize, too alive to freeze. This is not a highlight reel. This is a meditation, a slow immersion, a question that never needs an answer. Time behaves differently here. A minute stretches, a moment contracts. Memories from 1,000 years ago feel close, and futures not yet imagined feel real. Every second of this journey invites you to forget what time means, to stop measuring and start feeling. You are here. Now again. Now still. Somewhere, a monk chants. Somewhere else, a server farm hums. A grandmother tills her garden with hands shaped by generations. And just beyond, A rocket prepares for the stars. This is China. Not one China, but many. 1,000 lifetimes, stacked and breathing. Let it wash over you. Let it unsettle you. Let it confuse you. Because on the other side of confusion is expansion. There is no single truth here. There are layers, echoes, stories with no beginning, and no need for endings. What do you see? Light? Smoke? A movement too small to name? Good. Hold on to that. What you feel now, that pull in your chest, that sense of something vast and ancient just outside your grasp. That's the point. You are not supposed to understand it all. You are supposed to be changed by it. You will not remember every street or every face, but you will remember this feeling that for a few minutes you stepped outside of your world and into something else, something bigger, older, and yet entirely present. So what happens now? Now that your mind has cracked open just a little, what fills the space? Not knowledge, not answers, but something subtler, a hum beneath the surface, a new kind of awareness. You may return to your daily life, to your routine, but a part of you stays here, hovering in the stillness, listening for echoes you never noticed before, because the images remain, the sounds remain, that invisible shift remains. And now you start to notice things differently, the way a shadow moves across your floor, the way strangers pause before speaking, the feeling of wind on your skin, as if it's trying to whisper something. You were shown something, but you were also reminded of something you've always known, that beauty doesn't need to be explained, that presence is more powerful than proof, that awe isn't rare, it's just quiet. And now you hear it. You begin to walk slower, breathe deeper, see wider. You begin to ask better questions. What makes something sacred? What stories are buried in silence? What have I missed because I was looking too hard? There is a lesson in the stillness, not a rule, not a doctrine, a whisper. Let go. Watch, feel. In a world obsessed with speed, this is your invitation to slow, to return to what your body already knows. That time is not a race. That depth matters more than detail. Here, in this memory of China, not the map, but the feeling, you start to change. You begin to realize the world doesn't need to be new to be astonishing. It only needs to be seen, truly seen. What else lies waiting, not far away, but hidden in plain sight? What other lives move beside yours, quietly shaping the same world you walk through? Somewhere in the haze of memory, you see flickers, a red curtain blowing in an alley, a bowl of rice set out for someone long gone, a child's drawing on a concrete wall. These are the poems of place. They don't rhyme, but they resonate. They live inside you now, not because you understood them, but because you felt them. What is China? It is not a single idea. It never was. It is tension and tenderness, permanence and change, tradition wrapped in transformation, a place that refuses to be defined, and in that refusal becomes even more real. To witness it fully, you must release control. Let go of the need to package, to compare, to capture. Just be. Let the land write its own lines on your memory. Let the people shape the story in silence. Because when you stop narrating, you finally start listening. And in that silence, something extraordinary happens. You begin to remember who you were before the noise, before expectation, before labels. You begin to feel again, not just the world around you, but the world within you. China doesn't just reveal itself, it reveals you. This journey was never about a destination. It was always about attention, the kind that lingers, the kind that transforms. Every corner of this vast, layered land teaches one truth: that beauty lives in the unnoticed, that connection hides in contrast, that every story is more than one story. And now you carry that with you, not like luggage, not like facts, but like a new rhythm in your breath, like a subtle shift in how you see the sky. Somewhere, a bell rings in the mist. A fisherman casts a net as the sun cuts through fog. A woman lights a lantern and sets it afloat, not to find the future, but to honor the past. All of these moments are now part of you. You wonder, how much beauty have I missed because I rushed? How many stories went unheard because I was too loud inside? Now you know, stillness is not absence. It is presence. It is patience. It is depth. And the deeper you go, the more you begin to feel. This wasn't just a video. This was a mirror. And in it, you saw movement. You saw memory. You saw a world vast enough to hold contradiction and intimate enough to hold you. You were not just shown China. You were invited into it, not as a spectator, but as a participant, as a soul willing to wander. And that willingness, that's the real journey. So hold on to it. Let it guide how you see tomorrow. Let it guide how you walk through the world. Because what you saw today was not just a place, it was a possibility, a new way of seeing, of listening, of being. And if this opened even a single window inside you, then it's only the beginning. Subscribe, not because you're expected to, but because you want to continue, because you want more than facts. You want to feel. You want to remember what it means to be human, to be awake, to be alive. Let's go further, together, into the quiet, into the question, into the beauty that doesn't ask for attention, but rewards those who give it. This is not the end. This is the invitation. Again and again. If this journey touched something in you, if it opened a window or simply gave you a moment of peace, then feel free to stay. Subscribe if you'd like to join us again. There are places where silence speaks louder than words, where the air itself feels sacred, where the mountains don't just rise, they stand watch. Switzerland is such a place, a kingdom of snow and stone, of light and shadow. This is not just a country. This is a heartbeat, carved into the very bones of the earth. Welcome to Switzerland, a realm where time slows, beauty reigns, and peace becomes presence. From the very first breath, in the crisp alpine air, you feel it, a stillness that is not emptiness, but depth. In the valleys, clouds move like rivers above green pastures. The bells of grazing cows echo through silence so pure it almost feels holy. In this place, nature doesn't compete, it harmonizes. Switzerland is not loud. It doesn't need to be. It's a symphony of still moments, a sunrise over the Matterhorn, the hush of snowfall in the Engadin, the sparkle of sunlight on Lake Geneva. These are not tourist attractions. They are elemental truths. Glaciers breathe slow under sky-blue ice. Trains glide through tunnels like clockwork poetry. And every village, every peak, every crystal lake seems as if it has been painted with intention. Here, the land has memory. It remembers the footsteps of mountaineers, the songs of shepherds, the prayers whispered by generations who knew that the mountains give and the mountains take. Zermatt, with its iconic guardian, the Matterhorn, feels like a place where myth meets earth. In Lauterbrunnen, waterfalls drop from cliffs as if the sky itself is weeping in awe. In Lucerne, medieval bridges arch over still waters that mirror the past. Bern, timeless and elegant. Geneva, dignified and global. Zurich, vibrant and refined. Swiss cities do not shout to be seen. They are composed, like concertos in stone. But let us return to the real soul of this land, the mountains. The Alps are not merely geography. They are cathedral walls. They invite reverence. Whether you're high above the tree line or wandering through meadows bursting with wildflowers, you're never truly alone. The land watches, listens, and if you're still enough, it speaks. You begin to understand the Swiss way, a culture built not on excess, but on balance. Precision is not pride here, it is respect. Trains run on time not to impress, but because they should. Clean streets are not a show, but a shared duty. Order is not rigidity, it is grace. And behind that order lies warmth. Deep, quiet warmth. The kind that doesn't announce itself, but shows up in the offer of homemade bread, a shared fondue, a smile from someone who doesn't need to talk to be kind. There's humility in Swiss hospitality and strength in its gentleness. This land is layered with stories, Celtic tribes, Roman roads, monasteries perched on cliffs, resistance and refuge. Switzerland's neutrality is not detachment, it is choice, a deliberate decision to hold space in a chaotic world. And in that space, something beautiful grows. You see it in the markets of Lausanne, the vineyards of Lavaux, the winding alleys of Saint-Gallen. You taste it in Gruyere cheese, in milk fresh from the alpine pastures, in chocolate that melts like memory on the tongue. You feel it in the lakes that stretch into the horizon, Lake Lucerne, Lake Thun, Lake Maggiore, each one a mirror to the sky. But Switzerland is more than mountains and cheese. It is innovation rooted in tradition, watchmakers whose hands are steadier than time, architects who build in dialogue with nature, artists who paint with shadow and silence, musicians who let space speak between notes. In Basel, art flows through galleries and into the streets. In Davos, scale, patience, the beauty of being small beneath something vast. When fog curls over a mountain pass, when a marmot whistles across a valley, when snow begins to fall and the world softens, you remember something slow, something real. Switzerland asks nothing from you but presence, to walk slower, to listen longer, to notice. It is not a country of performance. It is a sanctuary of perception. And yet, for all its stillness, Switzerland is alive with energy. Skiers carve down impossible slopes. Paragliders soar from cliffs. Cyclists test their lungs on alpine passes. Nature is not just observed, it's joined. This vitality pulses through every season. Spring, and if you choose to stay a little longer, if you wander deeper into the heart of this land, you'll find more than just landscapes. You'll find silence that heals, nature that teaches, and moments that ask for nothing but your attention. The mountains will still be there. The lakes will still shimmer. But something inside you will have changed. And as you walk the trails, hear the wind in the trees, and taste the clarity in the air, you'll realize this isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning of belonging. Switzerland doesn't let go. It stays with you, gently, endlessly, truly, not as a memory, but as a part of who you now are. Here, the world slows down not because it must, but because it can. Because everything, the rhythm of footsteps on old cobblestone, the creak of a wooden balcony in the evening breeze, the way sunlight filters through pine, tells you this is enough. This moment, this breath, this quiet. No notifications, no deadlines, just you and the hum of something eternal. There's a kind of magic in walking through a village that still lives by the rhythm of the sun, where morning begins with the sound of a bell and not an alarm, where a bakery opens with warm bread and a familiar smile, where the mountains aren't just scenery, they are participants in the life of the people. Climb higher, and the world begins to vanish behind you. Civilization fades, replaced by the language of the earth: wind, water, snow, silence. Huts appear where you least expect them. In these places, hospitality is not a business, it's a birthright. A stranger is not a risk. A stranger is a guest. And when night falls in the mountains, something ancient stirs. You see stars, not just as light, but as memory. The cold is sharper, cleaner. The silence isn't empty, it's alive. And in that quiet, you begin to remember all the things you forgot to feel. Switzerland doesn't overwhelm the senses, it awakens them. The distant ring of a bell through fog, the echo of footsteps through a mountain pass, the rush of meltwater from glacier to stream, the first crunch of snow under your boots. The air here doesn't just fill your lungs, it clears your mind. Walk along Lake Brienz in the early hours and you'll swear time has stopped. The water is still, like polished glass. A fisherman casts silently from a tiny boat. Mist drifts between the trees like smoke from an unseen fire. And for a moment, the world makes sense again. In this country, solitude is not loneliness. It is restoration. You're not escaping the world. You're returning to the part of you that the world has drowned in noise. Go to a village where no one speaks your language, and yet you're understood. Sit with elders who've seen the seasons cycle 1,000 times, and they'll tell you things without a single word. In the folds of this land, wisdom grows, slow, deep, earned. Switzerland has mastered the art of being present. A pot of tea on an old wooden table, a child feeding goats in a quiet pasture, a man hand-carving a piece of wood, not for profit, but for tradition. These are not acts of nostalgia, they are acts of preservation, of value, of meaning. You realize something else. The luxury of Switzerland is not wealth, it's intentionality. Things are done well because they matter. Trains arrive on time because time matters. Paths are maintained because journeys matter. People care because beauty deserves it. Even the wind seems respectful here. It moves through the trees like breath through lungs. It carries the scent of fir, earth, and distance. You begin to walk differently, not faster, but fuller. You stop more often, not to check a map, but to notice. And the more you notice, the more this country reveals itself. There is no single Switzerland. There are hundreds. The one you find in Ticino, with its Italian warmth and sunlit plazas. The one in Graubünden, where Romansh is spoken and the land folds like poetry. The one in Vaud, where vineyards terrace into lakes and silence is golden. Each canton, each village, a chapter in a long and living book. And somewhere between those pages, you begin to see yourself, not as a visitor, but as someone returning to something they didn't know they'd lost. The rhythm of simplicity, the truth of the slow, the dignity of the ordinary. Even in the cities, this essence persists, in a quiet cafe in Geneva, in the tidy beauty of a Zurich tram station, in the generosity of a stranger helping you find your way in Bern. Urban Switzerland is not hurried. It moves with purpose, but not panic. And when it snows, everything stops. The land becomes storybook. Trees wear white coats, rooftops glisten. And suddenly, you are no longer watching winter. You are inside it, a part of it, a witness to its stillness, to its purity. At night, the lights come on in distant chalets, like stars scattered across a mountainside. You watch from afar, heart full, soul still. You understand now, this country doesn't just